back here at Hobe Sound, Florida. If you guys are just tuning in, this is round 2 of 32. We're about to see who goes into the final 16 for tomorrow. I'm Alexis Belton here with Bobby Bradley. What are you excited to see in this round?
Kyle, just getting off to a good start here. Kyle in slot number 1 yesterday ended up going OB, and then settled into the tournament in round number 2. But we saw earlier on, you got to carry it. We've said it a million times, so if anybody's gambling on how many times we say you got to carry it 350 yards, you're going to be making a lot of money. But we saw that today. The guys were like sitting around 345 to 352, but then the 220 guys were up in the 360s and 370s. Zach Holden, Martin Borgmeier, and Justin James are all in the 360s and 370s. So it is a ball speed game right now. Kyle Berkshire at 371 yards to start off. Bryce Verplank at 369. Bryce Verplank finished third in the world in 2021. Kyle Berkshire with 2 world titles under his resume, and this is a good start for Kyle. I like seeing that he has a 371 right away out of the chutes. We're looking at the flags. There's barely wind, but if there is wind, it's slightly downwind at a mile per hour. There's not too much of a difference.
Yeah, not making that big of a difference. It's always exciting to see these guys on the tee, but I'm excited also always watching Bobby Ray. Is a lot of fun. He's out here with his sleeves out, sun's out, guns out again.
I'm going to open up YouTube right now just to see the comments. I want to know if you think Bobby Ray is the best dressed or the worst dressed out here. Do you like the sleeves? Do you not like the sleeves? Do you like the earrings? Do you like the mullet? Please tell us. I don't know how many ladies are going to be tuning in to this broadcast per se, but what do you think about the mullet and the getty up that he has?
I like the mullet on him. I would say his clothes look better on Jacob. We saw a switch yesterday where they swapped clothes, and he was rocking the Malbon.
So Kyle Berkshire is going to be hitting his 6th ball right now. We'll take a peek at the FlightScope numbers. Bryce Verplank is going to be OB left on his last ball. He's going to be locked in at 369 yards. Kyle Berkshire in slot number 1. The numbers did not pop up on the FlightScope, but Kyle does have access to these numbers. These hitters do have access to these numbers, so now Kyle will regroup. He'll have about a 25-minute break. Him and Martin Borgmeier were the top-ranked hitters, so they get to hit in slot number 1 right to start off the event, and then round 2, Kyle will be back in about 25 minutes.
And we see these numbers are already a little bit higher than this morning, and a lot of that has to do as the sun's coming out, the grid's getting a little bit drier, and we're going to see a little bit farther rollout if they're able to get it to that mark of 350.
Kyle Berkshire 371, Bryce Verplank 369, Bobby Ray at 350, and Andrew Carver 315. So, yeah, the guys that are in around 208 to 210, they're going to have to make some changes. They got to launch it a little bit higher. It's not the same conditions as yesterday where we had a nice east wind anywhere between 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe a little bit more than that. So they weren't really worried about that 350-yard benchmark of carry. But right now, you're going to see these guys really struggle to get past that 350-yard benchmark unless they hit it a little bit higher. So this is a ball speed and launch game right now, and the fastest guys on the planet are making it look very, very easy on this grid.
A little too easy, but you also see a lot of these guys taking more than one club out, and that just shows that they're trying to figure it out as well as they're hitting. If one's not launching as high as they want, they might switch out another club, figure out what shaft works best, and see who will make the final 8 in order to go to the final 16 tomorrow.
Yeah, Josh Koch, Ryan Riesbeck, Wes Patterson, Kyle Gabbard, all guys that have been successful in the sport. Kyle Gabbard with an amateur world championship a couple years back. Josh Koch with multiple wins on tour. Ryan Riesbeck is the same. I believe at one time Ryan Riesbeck was the world number 1, and Wes Patterson with multiple final 8s in the world championship. This is a home game for him. He lives about 10 minutes from here. So Wes Patterson is in slot number 3. We're going to key in on these numbers because these guys are in and around the same speeds. Josh Koch is going to be the fastest guy on the tee box more than likely, in and around 215 up to 220. Wes Patterson, too, if he hits a good ball, he will be right around 210, numbers. Maybe a little bit higher. So Koch at 350. Kyle Gabbard at 359. Kyle Gabbard hits the ball high. So we'll look at his apex right on that last ball was 208 feet in the air.
Great spin, and it's going to be interesting to see. He put a great first ball out there. Now he's able to really unleash.
Yeah, this benefits the high ball hitter right now.
There we go.
And you saw it from, like, I'll say Sam Judah hit a lot of really good balls today, but he was hitting them a little bit too low. He ended up sneaking in and got that 8th spot.
He did.
But if this was a roll grid, Sam Judah would have probably done significantly better than finishing 8th in his group.
And if you were watching the stream earlier today, it looked like he got a little bit hurt.
Just
Thankfully,
a cramp.
he's okay.
Fine.
He just had a cramp, and he'll be ready to go tomorrow. So that was some good news.
Kyle Gabbard, 209. Spun it just a little bit too much, almost at 3,000 OB right, 224 feet in the air. Let's see if Koch can make an adjustment. The adjustment that Koch has to make is the height on his golf ball.
He was in the booth with us yesterday kind of talking about how he's planning on competing these next 2 days, hopefully these next 2 days.
It looks like the FlightScope may be down in slot number 1 because I've not seen a number from that slot as of yet. Koch at 356, so he's improving.
Coming up on the final balls here. Wes Patterson needs to put one in the grid.
Tip of the cap to GF Sports and Entertainment and the entire production team. What you're looking at now is awesome. You got all the hitters in the slots. You're able to see all of their FlightScope numbers, see what these guys are putting up. And it helps the hitters as well. They can go back and take a look at this later on down the road, and I'll make some adjustments.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, that's the next one.
Introducing the new Bridgestone E9 Long Drive. Co-designed by world long drive athletes to push the limits of distance. Thanks to extreme ball speed and superior aerodynamic flight. Engineered for you to hit your longest drive. Drive the new E9 Long Drive. Extreme distance for your game.
Just getting an update from FlightScope. It's down for currently down in slot number 1, so we will not be getting their data as of right now on the live stream.
But we will be sure to keep you posted on the numbers as we get them.
But yeah, FlightScope has made our life very easy.
Our lives, the players' lives, and you at home are able to see real-time data. And it's really cool because these guys are able to make adjustments while they're on the tee.
Ryan Gregnall and Colton Casto ended up, I believe, going 1-2. They were the first to go off yesterday as well. Gregnall, Mr. 237.1, ended up having the world record on TrackMan for the fastest ball speed ever. And it was an interesting 5 or 6 days, with Martin Borgmeier, Kyle Berkshire, Seb Twiddell, who was just on earlier today, and Ryan Gregnall just pushing the limit. 219.5, 133 feet in the air from Gregnall. Good spin rates, but right now that he just got to keep it in the air a little bit longer. He might be fast enough to get it past that 350 benchmark, but they said he needs to launch it probably about 30, 40 feet higher, and you're going to be seeing balls in the mid-60s, which he has right there already. And Colton Casto with the longest drive of the day at 379 yards. Colton Casto hits it high, and this is a good and it's playing out right now that the fastest guys that hit high are cruising through these brackets right now. Colton Casto ended up having 1,000 points, so he won. Just like Martin Borgmeier. Borgmeier ended up winning 9 out of his last 10 sets outright. Colton Casto currently.
He's even putting up his second ball was 369. So both of his balls are 2 of the furthest of the day already.
Mm-hmm. Gregnall with his last ball at 300 or with 178 feet in the air. He'll make some changes. Colton Casto in slot number 1, as mentioned. The monitor is currently down. They are fixing it. They have FlightScope technicians here on site making changes.
And Scott Littlefields, he continues to adjust every single shot. This one might be one of his furthest balls of the day so far. It's looking really good.
He hit it high, 190 feet in the air. Spin rates was 1,500. Ball speed was right around 207, 208. That was a good ball. Let's see what that last number from Scott Littlefield came out, or the fifth ball. Let's see if the 208 can actually get past that 350-yard benchmark.
This was a fun group.
Yeah, Ryan Gregnall improved on his fifth ball to 372. Colton Casto's got him by 7 yards. Currently at 379. Waiting on Scott Littlefield's last ball at 345. Not enough spin.
Yeah.
Not enough spin. It kind of fell out of the sky there. So that was a 1,500 spin. Jake Ignite at 350.
And you see kind of the ball speeds and the swing speeds of each players. They're kind of around the same area. Colton Casto and Ryan right there with each other, as well as Scott Littlefield and Jake right there with each other. All right, they've got Scotty Pearman, Will Holg, Cody Billinghurst, and Josh Jackson for the last group of set 1.
All these guys hit it high. Scotty Pearman, he'll be in and around probably 212 to 215. We won't be able to pick up his ball speed numbers currently, but Will Hogue, talk to him on the range and just listen to him to talk to the other guys. He's just going to try to stay in that pocket of 212 to 215 and just hit a lot of balls and play it and hit it high.
Yeah.
And Will is
he's coming in very calm as well.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what he's going to put up. Scotty looked really good on the range as well. I think he's going to hit a little draw.
Cody Billinghurst, I watched him yesterday. He's aiming out right a little bit and just hitting a pull, like a straight pull, which I think it's a good strategy. He hits it high. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, maybe 3 or 4 of these guys going in the mid-50s up to the 60s as well.
And Josh is always interesting because he can put up any number at any time. He's not that consistent, but he's consistent enough to put something together in a set. Really interesting background. Played not only football in college, but also golf. So he is, as well as everyone else, an athlete.
Will Hogue with the 209 ball, 200 feet in the air. That's exactly what he wanted to do with that golf ball. Scotty Pearman looked 7 times? Phenomenal. Yesterday. Scotty Pearman.
He did.
The 2021 PLDA regular season player of the year at 213 mile per hour ball speed, 229 feet in the air, 2,400 spin. Not sure if this one's going to stay in play, but it's going to be close.
And such a great guy. All these guys do a lot to serve their communities. Scotty, biggest heart for premature babies is he and his wife had a son that was only 1 pound when he was born, and now he's out here running around.
Yep, Xander's running all over the place.
Probably be a potential long driver in maybe 20 years.
Will Hogue at 66, Billinghurst at 56. Scotty Pearman's third ball went OB, but I like the numbers that Scotty put up. He just needs to straighten this one out a little bit, and I see him being in the 60s as well. And Cody Billinghurst just taking a peek right at those flags down that right side and just going to try to hit a little pull. Straight pull.
Yep. The porta potty. That's the line, as told
by
Martin.
Yeah, I think Cody kind of his eyesight is more down that right side, more at the flags. And 214 ball speed, like I said, a lot of these guys are very similar. Will Hogue at 216, at 223 height, 1,700 spin. Will Hogue is starting to get dialed in there, 373 yards.
He likes that one.
Right at 215, 2,400 spin, 237 in the air.
Beautiful ball. Absolutely beautiful. Josh Jackson really struggling on this 4th slot. It's kind of hard slot when you're hitting a big cut. That might be a good one.
Scotty Pearman taking a deep breath here. His feet look a lot more square on this one. He likes it.
That.
215. 1,400 spin, 2,200. So let's look at the spin numbers. He's at 1,400, and Will was like 2,400. Let's see where this one lands with Scotty Pearman to see if that lower spin rate is gonna hurt him.
And we'll give you his number when we get back right after break.
You can compete for your shot to make it to the World Long Drive Championship. With a $25 community membership, you'll get the opportunity to join a local qualifier in your area in hopes of advancing to regionals, a 10% discount on merchandise, and insider access to pre-sales and registrations in the newsletter. Join now at worldlongdrive.com.
And we're back, and we just got the final number for Scotty Pearman's 383 yards.
216 ball speed, 220 in the air, a little under 1,500 spin, and now we have a little bit of a, I would say it's an east-northeast wind, so we're downwind. So there you go.
You've been talking all day.
1,500 spin, 220 feet in the air. And those are optimized numbers. And Scotty Pearman with the longest ball of the day so far at 383 yards. Colton Casto at 379. So the winners in the first round, Scotty Pearman, Colton Casto, Kyle Berkshire, and Kyle Gabbard. They have 200 points. Point structure, if you're just tuning in for the first time, 200 points for first, 100 points for second, 50 for third, 25 for fourth. OB sets get 0 points. In and around 450 seems to be the bubble. 450 got in last. Sam Judah ended up with 450. Isaiah Joyner had significantly more than that, but Isaiah Joyner was already in without even hitting his fifth set at 475
Yeah, I got
points.
to talk with him. He was on this last set. He knew where he stood, and he was just trying out different shafts and clubs to prepare for tomorrow. Josh Koch putting up some good numbers, and like we said earlier, it's just height. He's growing in height even as he's continuing to hit these balls on this set right now.
Bryce Verplank almost a 220 mile per hour ball speed at 219. And you're going to start seeing these guys that were carrying at 345, 350 now having significantly bigger numbers. You're going to see 365s, 370s right now because this wind, even though it's a couple mile per hour, these guys were really stuck in between that 345 to maybe 351, 352 the first 2 hours and 15 minutes of this tournament. And now we have a more of an east wind. So this grid goes east to west, so it's slightly downwind. It could be 2 or 3 mile per hour downwind, but that's a huge difference here because this is a carry grid up to 351, 352 yards. So Greg Nall, 365, Koch, 369, Josh Jackson, 337, coming right back after being in slot number 4 of the group before, and Bryce Verplank looking on a number right now. Bryce Verplank's ball speeds are plenty fast enough. He was just 219. This one looks great here. 12 degree launch, 215 feet in the air, 2,400 spin, spun it almost 1,000 more than Scotty Pearman, and seeing similar profile numbers to Will Hogue at that number where Will ended up going. Where's Will at 373? So Bryce Verplank probably in and around that number, 389. Boom, right there, 2,400 spin, hitting it over 200 feet in the air. These guys have figured this out. Same numbers here with Bryce Verplank. 218, 12 launch, 2,300 spin.
And that might go further than the furthest, although he's already in at number 1 in this set.
And that's coming down to the height of the golf ball. And we were watching Greg Null hit a few balls. I know he's in slot number 1, and the monitor isn't up as of yet. But Greg Null, his ball flight was a little bit lower today. Even on the range, he was hitting it probably 140 to 160 feet in the air, and it looks like these 200 to 220 feet shots are the play right now.
It just takes a little adjustment. He's got time. Hopefully he will head back. Look at Bryce with 395, the longest ball of the day. We'll definitely see a lot of 400s coming out here as we continue going for the rest of the day.
We talked about the last group of the day in the first bracket of hitters. You had Brandon Flynn, Justin James, Reed Russell, and Martin Borgmeier that were already in the tournament. And I kind of said maybe these guys are just going to relax, and they said maybe Brandon Flynn works on hitting it a little bit higher. But the guy that really made the adjustment was Justin James. Justin James made that change to hit it higher ball flight because he was in and around 160, 170 feet, the pocket that he was in Mesquite and even yesterday. But Justin James made the modification to hit it a little bit higher, and you saw that number jump big time. So Justin James
significantly, and Brandon Flynn consistent every single time, and we saw him put a little bit more speed to his ball as well in that last set.
Bryce Verplank, longest drive of the day, 395. Scotty Pearman at 383, and you're seeing a significant jump in distance. It's warming up. When these guys hit at 8 o'clock, there was moisture all over the ground, and there was no wind. It was just dead. So it's going to heat up here. We're going to see 400-yard drives. We might see one here right in slot number 2 with Colton Casto. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 400 number because his height and ball speed is similar to Bryce for planks. Colton can be in the 220s, but right now he's cruising at 218 mile per hour. This one's coming down the right side, 239 feet in the air. If that one stays in play, that's going to be a huge number from Colton. Just the guesstimate on FlightScope on Colton's golf ball was 396 yards. Not sure if that one stayed in play or not. Same play.
And if you're tuning in with us for the first time today, make sure you leave some comments. If you have any questions, we will probably have another player here, or guest, hopefully, around for this set as well. So any questions you have for players or us, we would love to answer that. We would love to engage with you guys.
I see a world champion out there. She's got a couple of them. Let's try to get Sandra Carlborg in
yeah.
there. You know, Sandra, or we got Jeremy Nowak.
Six-time.
Yeah. And even Bobby Peterson. I mean, I don't know how much Bobby will speak today, but, you know, Bobby can talk about the characteristics of the golf ball and whatever, equipment, literally everything. I mean, Bobby is a wealth of knowledge who coaches the longest hitters of the golf ball in the world.
He is the guru. He is the what is the little green dude from Star Wars?
I have no. Oh, Yoda.
He is the Yoda of World Long Drive.
Yeah. He just has a country accent. That's the only difference. And he doesn't.
And a lot of chickens.
Yeah, he does. He's got about 500,000 of them at the house. But Colton Casto at 389 yards. Ryan Riesback 353. Andrew Carver working on a number, and Cody Billinghurst. Billinghurst looking way out right. Just needs to straighten one out here.
And as we talked about earlier, it's so important, especially in this round, to make sure you put one in the grid.
Yep.
That first ball, first 2, 3 balls, making sure you get one in, and you can kind of unleash from there.
I mean, Andrew
Ryan
Carver
liked that ball.
Yeah, 207 from Ryan, 174 in the air, 2,500 spin, good number. And we're looking at Andrew Carver here in slot number 3. I mean, he just hit a great ball. It just really comes down to pure ball speed, because he hit that 351. Has a little bit more of a east wind. He could have been in the 60s or 70s right there. So Andrew Carver's hitting some nice golf balls here too.
Easily. We look forward to seeing him in the next set as well. We'll see you guys right after this commercial.
Bobby Ray, do you think that your multi-sport background has helped you kind of train, and do you still train that way for long drive now?
I do think that just being an athlete, being around sports, obviously helps and translates into any other sport. When it comes to my workout and my fitness, I definitely geared it a little bit differently. My workouts have traditionally been just like for aesthetic purposes, and it just so happens that translates into hitting the ball further. So I've competed at high-level sports my whole life, but you're just embracing that adrenaline, and I miss it, and you can't replicate it.
We got to hear a little bit from Bobby Ray, either the best fashion or least styled person out here. I would go with some of the best. It's exciting to see him play.
His swap with Jacob Galladay yesterday was hilarious.
I wonder if who do you think he'll swap with, if he could swap with anyone in this group. I'm going to go with, it'd be fun to see him swap with Josh Koch.
They might do it. You never know. They might do it. Just taking a peek at YouTube right now. Oh, these comments are great. Mitch Dobbin, hello.
Hello, Mitch.
Mitchell Michael. But yeah, Bobby Ray and Jesus. Jacob Galladay, they switched uniforms yesterday, and it was really funny. And the best part about it is that they had to hit balls in play in order to advance. So it shows to their personality that they could be, in competition. I mean, essentially they were down to the last set or they're out, and they both got in.
I think that's what makes them be able to perform well.
They both delivered. Scotty Pearman on the last ball ended up getting one in play, and his ball was 220 feet in the air and a little under 1,500 spin. and now he's back to the same height per se, and he's at 2,400 spin on that last ball. Bobby Ray with a good ball, and it looks like Bobby Ray's center punching these, and 211 ball speed. So if that one stayed in play, good. But there was a lot of movement, so that ball had almost 50 yards of left to right movement. So that's too much. That's too much real estate that he's taken up. Scotty Pearman, 379. Kyle Gabbard at 362, and now we have
The
a world champion that has more rings. You can fill up your entire hand
Plus
of world
another
championships.
So great to have you in here. Thanks for coming, Sandra.
Thank you.
We got Sandra Carlborg, who's performing tomorrow. How are you
Yes.
feeling about tomorrow?
Good. It's so nice to be hitting in nice weather.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm very happy to be here. It's going to be fun tomorrow.
I saw you just a minute ago. You've been watching the guys, studying them. What are you taking away from them that you want to incorporate tomorrow in your rounds?
It's just, I mean, focus on what you're doing and then hit it high and let it fly.
Yeah, truly. Hit it high has been the secret out here today.
Yeah, because it's good conditions and it's warm and, yeah, the ball flies good here. So
It does, yeah. Great ball by Bridgestone, who's also a sponsor of World Long Drive Tour.
What changes are you going to make from? I know that you finished in second, but what changes have you made over the last 4 weeks?
controlling my nerves.
Yeah.
You telling me you still get nervous?
I mean, you're always nervous up there, and but I thought in Mesquite I was planning to go there, just relax, have fun. But then when you are up in the tee box, you want to do this so much, and you want to perform. So it's always nerves.
She's going to be ready to
So-
hit too. I can guarantee you, she won't even have to warm up, and she's going to want to tee it
I don't
up.
know about that.
You know,
Maybe.
Yeah. Troy,
When it
like the
gets there.
second she saw everybody start walking out, you could just see Troy's like,
It's
I
like,
want to hit.
I got to get out there. Well,
Yeah.
now you're coming back, and you're a mom of two.
Yeah.
What is that like? You have two girls who get to see their mom, who is, you know, an
Living
icon
legend.
in the sport. Yeah, and continuing to
You make
play.
me cry now.
No, what has that been like?
I mean, it was perfect timing during COVID to having two kids because I couldn't travel but I realized when I was competing in week 24 with Ebba when I was pregnant in the World Championship, I decided when I was watching the finals, like, I'm not done. I want
Yeah.
to do this again. And then I had another girl, and then when we were at the hospital, when she was just born, I want to come back. So I decided at that time I want to give it a 2-year plan. And now it's been 1.5 years since he was born. So
Wow.
my goal is to be in the shape of my life for Worlds. I don't know
Yes.
if that's possible, but I'm going to do my
And
best.
let them see
so.
their mom hold up.
So I want to.
trophy.
I really want to come back to the level I was before the kids. So
Well-
I'm working very hard.
With a second place finish last event, you're right there.
I was very happy for the second place. So yeah, it's just keep going and yeah.
You plan on
I-
hitting at every event, or how many events are you going to hit at this year?
I would love to go to all of them. It depends on the sponsors and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would love to go to all of them. It would be fun. So, because I love this so much. It's so much fun.
It
I
is.
mean,
It
I have
really
missed
is.
this so much with over 3 years not competing.
Yeah.
So
Well, you heard it from her first. It's a lot of fun. Once you start, it's addicting. So make sure you find a local qualifier to see how you measure up, and if you have an opportunity to compete against the best.
Wake up.
Was that your alarm clock for this morning?
Uh,
10:30 start? No, but you and another world champ have similar outfits on today. We're watching Kyle Berkshire right now hit along with Wes Patterson, Will Hogue, and Jake Hignite.
yeah, I had a dinner with Kyle yesterday, and it's always nice to share experience. So yeah, it's so nice to watch these guys perform so good. So yeah,
Yeah,
it inspires.
What do you think about like the speed over the last like 2 or 3 weeks of all these world records?
It's crazy. It's crazy. And my husband, he asked me, "Don't you want to do the same thing, like trying to like have a speed competition for the ladies?" And like, yeah, why not? But
Yeah.
no, I don't know. But it's crazy what they are doing.
Well, we were seeing Kyle Berkshire at 227.3. He hit this thing 9 miles in the air, 258 feet. If that one stayed in play, this is going to be 400 yards. It has to be just purely off of speed and height. And we're watching these guys hitting at 200, 220 feet in the air. Maybe he hit a little bit too high, but I know that Kyle worked really hard the last 4 weeks with Bobby Peterson, who's also your coach,
Yeah.
making those changes for that golf ball. And I even saw it with you and a couple other girls. Like you're going to have to make a little bit of changes because you weren't really generating that much spin. And I think because I was watching the first couple swings of yours, and I'm like, that's not her speed or whatever. And you said you were nervous, and then all of a sudden, 174. You know, I'm like, okay, she's fine. She's, you know.
Yeah,
but
She's back.
the spin rates, because I was seeing some balls in between, like, I mean, they were like 1,000 to like 1,400. So did you work on that as well, like changing up maybe a little, you know, the profile of shots and spin?
It was just, I mean, in Mesquite, I had a few good balls, but there were, I mean, I can count it on one hand.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit lucky that tournament that I had the good balls in the right time. So right now it's just to control and hit my balls because it feels good, and it's easy to say you can hit good on the range, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone can. So it's just to move it from the driving range
Well,
to the tee box and just hit as hard as you can.
Yeah. Well, me being a
And good
fan of
balls.
the sport and competitor for, 17 years now, I really enjoyed watching you and Phyllis walk up together in the semifinals because you guys have so many world titles. It's ridiculous. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Just
And
imagine carrying all those belts because you used to get like rings and stuff, but just imagine that would be kind of funny just going to the airport and just carrying
I was
a
going
bunch
to say,
of belts
whenever you
walking
win,
in.
do you wear the belt on the plane?
Actually, I wear it on the plane the
Yes.
last time because I didn't want to check it in because I didn't want it to like disappear. So.
Well, we just saw Kyle Berkshire hit the longest ball of the day at 400.
Oh my God! Yeah.
He's locked in, and that was the 227 ball as
Yep.
It's
Teeing
always
it
magic
high.
going over 400 and then build on that.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that you're hitting it 400 yards in Florida, I mean, this is the worst condition that you could potentially have. You're at sea level and it's humid, like, and there's no
and
wind.
I
like,
feel like the ball flies good here.
well, I mean, it's a good golf ball. That's the testament to the Bridgestone E9 golf ball. It
Yes.
flies very, very well. But I mean, if you're looking at like these numbers in Denver, I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
these
man.
balls are going 460, 450, 460. It's crazy.
Chasing 500.
Yeah, absolutely. When you went 400 yards, that was in Denver. 4 of you went 400 yards.
But my
you know.
record before that was 391 in Sweden on sea level.
Wow.
I had
Wow.
that for 7 years, and then we came to Denver, and then we were
And then everyone.
4 over 400.
Because
so-
I don't know. I've been in that region of the world, but when I was in Scotland, I mean, the ground's nice and hard. How is like the turf out in Sweden? Is the ground hard or is it kind of spongy like here in Florida?
It depends on the weather conditions. Sometimes it rains a lot, and then it's of course soft. But when I hit 391, it was not soft; it was running.
Oh yeah, no.
of
You
course.
go out to West Texas and you do some
Right.
of these corporate and charity outings, and the ground's like concrete.
And
I
it
mean,
just
you're hitting like
rolls for miles.
470, 480. Yeah, it'll roll 120 yards.
They're like,
but
oh
it
my
was
gosh.
it was enjoyable watching 4 of you go 400 yards out.
Yeah, that
out.
was amazing.
That was cool, and it happened right away too. It's kind of like the ball speed of like the fastest guys in the world. Within like 3 or 4 days, there was a bunch of world records. So,
broken, and then Phyllis goes and breaks it again in Arizona,
Yeah, that was amazing.
which was
Yeah.
incredible.
yeah, Berkshire takes down the set. He'll have 400 points. So, him settling into this event. Colton Casto still hasn't lost yet. He's 7 for 7, but I like seeing that 400-yard number pop up from Kyle. And Bryce Verplank looking good, too. Another 220-mile-per-hour ball speed guy, Colton Casto 220. Kyle Gabbard and Will Hogan and around that number as well. So you're starting to see these top 32 hitters produce ball speeds that are
Yeah,
really fast.
Really fast. This is a world tour. We have so many people from so many different countries. You yourself, I think what best represents that is the ladies tour. The ladies are from everywhere, flying in for almost every event. How did you get into long drive being all the way in Sweden?
It was through my friend Jessica Wallström. She told me you need to try this, and then I won my first event.
Where
and
was your first
then
event?
It was in Sweden.
Okay.
Just a small event, but and I was hitting my playing driver, and then I was hitting 391 in the competition the year after in the competition in Sweden, and then I decided if I hit 391, and they said it was the longest, like the new world record for ladies, and
Yeah.
I decided to why not try the world championship, and then I won my first world championship, and here we are.
Just like
So,
that. Shows
yeah.
up to her first worlds.
So yeah, and
wins
I
it.
have always been long on tour too. So
Played a lot of LET events.
yeah, I have played on and off since 2005 until 2015, and then I decided to focus more on long drive. So at first, long drive was just a hobby for fun, but
Yeah.
now I do it full
Now
time
it's a career.
with exhibitions and clinics, and I love to inspire. So But say I inspire kids and ladies, and I love to challenge the guys. That's
I absolutely love that. What has been the biggest challenge? What do you say when you're challenging the men on the course? Because they're not expecting you.
No, it's
to hit it that
still
far.
like they are. Okay, let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
And then they can swing fast. But even if a guy swing like 125, I mean, they probably not. Even if I don't swing as fast as they do, they probably don't beat me anyway because
Inconsistency.
they can't control the club.
I always say it's a win-win when men come up and say, I can hit it further than you. I'm like, well, you're supposed to. And so I still win. And if you don't,
Yeah.
and I beat you, then I still win.
Yeah,
So
and the most fun is when I give them my club, like have a try with this longer club, and the better the player are, the worse they hit.
Yeah, they
Right.
always hit it right.
Yeah.
Every time it just goes dead
Straight
right.
out.
And I have seen like real rats. I mean, just off the tee from like tour players. I was like, what is this? Because they're not used to it. So yeah, so it's fun.
Bryce Verplank at 382, Will Hoge at 370.
and they keep trying to hit it over and over and over again.
Oh, I said
Yeah.
we've flown all over the world. Where's your favorite place to hit a golf ball?
Oh my God, Mesquite. I love Mesquite. I have been there 7 times.
Yeah, it's
And I haven't hit here yet. So we never know if I change my mind. But Mesquite is, I mean,
The Holy Grail.
oh my God, I love it.
It is.
Everything around it. The grid is perfect. And then you can celebrate in Vegas. It's
absolutely.
fun.
You've done that a couple times.
When will we get to see your girls come over this way?
Oh, I would love them
See
to
you
come.
hit in person.
Yeah, I would love that. It's just a long travel for
It
them.
is.
But hopefully, maybe if I can stay between Oceanside and the World Championship, maybe we can come the whole family.
Yeah.
But then I need my mom and dad to babysit. So
So you got to bring the whole fam.
hopefully that would be lovely. I would love to have them here. So we will see. So.
I'm bringing my little man out tomorrow. He's playing in a T-ball game right now, trying to get updates. We ended up having a T-ball game last night, so I went
This
right
is
from
Koch.
here. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
Trey, my son, hasn't been out to a tournament yet. He's seen Kyle a bunch just because he's been in the golf shop. But we're gonna bring him out tomorrow and watch the boys and girls and you know, the seniors get after it and win some championships.
How old is he now?
He turned 6 in June.
Oh, I remember when he was a little baby.
He's so tall. I lost on national television. You know, when he was 2 months old, I embarrassed him. You know, in front of everybody, my whole family. You know, Justin. It's funny because I get up and I'm hitting against JJ, who's at the time world #1, and I think I might have hit like 203 ball speed was the highest. And I'm not gonna say I caught one great, but I see Justin's first ball out, and it's like 221, and I'm like, oh, God, he's got to go OB. Like, I have no chance of beating him. But it was fun to hit with, you know, my family there and my son. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to having him out today. But if you're tuning in right now, we're with Sandra Carlborg, who has so many world championships, it's ridiculous. More on one hand and another hand. And you know,
that's not including
Are you going to get to
wins.
10? Are you going to get to 10 or what?
We will see, but I'm so happy to be back competing because
No.
I love this, and
This-
I think my husband he has his hands full being home with the two
Well,
girls
the
now.
sport is
So
happy to have you back.
yeah,
And happy to have the women's division is full, which is, like we said, even for the men's division being a full field, the sport is growing. It's going to continue to grow, and it starts with everyone that's right here being those pioneers, and you're definitely one of the pioneers. We see Wes Patterson, Andrew Carver, Scotty Pearman, and Ryan Gregnall.
So we're back up. FlightScope, their engineers are here. They have fixed the connectivity issue, and we are back in action in slot #1. So we can see some numbers. Wes Patterson with some big club speed here. Just got a center punch this one. I like the height on his golf ball. I like the spin. Just a matter. It might have been a little bit of a miss hit, but did he carry it, you know, farther than that 350-yard benchmark? And that's kind of been the number. I know that I don't know if you've tuned in yet, but it's very difficult to get it past 350 unless you're literally carrying it over that number. So Patterson, just a little bit of a miss hit at 343. If he center punches this, you're going to see Wes in the 60s and 70s easily. Gregnall, a 230 guy at ball speed at 378. Scotty Pearman, 367. Let's key in on Wes Patterson here in slot #1. If he gets one in the center of the face, you're going to see probably 213, 214, 215 ball speed, 205.9.
And he's straightening it out hit after hit. He's just trying to figure out how to best optimize this swing, and I think he did that on this one.
It's nice seeing Scotty getting dialed back in. He's got 2 wins as well. Struggled the first 5 balls to get one in play in the first set, and then ends up hitting a monster and taking down the set in slot number 1. Yes, it's Scotty with 2 wins, and it looks currently like he's in second. So he would have 500 points if he doesn't improve on that number currently, and no one passes him. Wes Patterson 353. Greg Null safely in the lead at 378 yards, which would give Greg Null 350 points if he wins this set. And Scotty Pearman with a second-place finish essentially would put him in to the round of 16 because he would have had 500 points. So he would have to just maybe put one in play, be safely in.
Ryan just hitting a good one there.
And last set, Colton Casto with his first loss of the tournament. He was 7 for 7, now 7 for 8. Martin Borgmeier had 9 out of 10 sets where he won as well. And that's got to be a confidence booster for these players. I mean, you get up there and you hit against, everybody else. I mean, it's got to be a lot better seeing Sandra Carlborg with 1,000 points instead of 425. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Sandra,
that's always good to win the group. That's that gets confidence for the match play. But yeah. But
well,
it's hard competition now, and
It
I
is.
love that because it's lovely to see the ladies division grow so much the last
without
couple
a
of
doubt.
years. So
I hope you will be the first out of every group that you have coming up tomorrow. It's going to be really exciting to see you. Thank you so much for sitting in.
thank you so
chatting
much.
with us.
So much
and
fun.
we will
yeah.
go to break here and see you guys right after commercial break.
Okay.
Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
And we're back. We had the pleasure of speaking with Sandra Carlborg, 6-time champion, one of the greatest. Her knowledge of the game and her heart for the game more than anything else is unmatched by most people. And she's definitely a pioneer and a leader in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, her and Phyllis Meddy are so humble and so nice.
The 2 nicest human beings on the planet, for sure.
And just fierce competitors. Just
The-
assassins on the grid.
The
you know,
only
and off the
place-
grid, the nicest people on the planet.
Yes, the only place you don't want to meet them is on the tee box.
They're gunning for you, or
yeah.
you're gunning for them. You got to catch them, right?
For the past few years, yeah.
Bryce Verplank at 500 points, Scotty Pearman at 500. You're going to see these guys in. Normally, if you're at 500 after 3 sets, literally a dink right down the middle, And then, these guys are going to be hitting it 360, 370, 380 right now. The wind shifted a little bit. It's more of a south wind now. We're not going to see as big as numbers, I don't believe. We had a due east wind for probably 30 minutes, and we were starting to see balls creep into the 400s, which Kyle Berkshire is the first guy of the day to go 400 yards. He has the longest ball of this group by 5 yards. Bryce Verplank at 395, Scotty Pearman and Colton Casto at 389, Greg Knowles at 385. Berkshire has settled into this tournament. He is at 388 yards, starting to get wins, and I know, Kyle wants to. We talked about it with Sandra. He wants to win every one of these sets.
Every single
one
set.
of them.
It doesn't matter if he's already in. He's on that last group five set. He's giving it everything that he has, and he's pacing himself out great. I love watching how he approaches every set. He's taking a step back, regrouping, and then goes up there and hits, boom, like that.
Still waiting a number here in slot number 3, which is Kyle Berkshire.
Need Ryan to get one in play here. Ryan's been putting in a lot of work, not even just on the grid, but also helping out all around to make this tournament.
Yeah, he's
be
got
as
a lot
good
of
as it
titles
is.
today.
Yeah, he's wearing a lot of hats.
Yep. Kyle Berkshire in the lead at 390 yards. Scott Littlefield 361. Josh Jackson 350. Ryan Riesback working on a number here. Not sure if he likes that one or not. Not happy with that at all. That one's going to go OB left. So Riesback's going to put up no marks, and that will leave him at 150 points with 2 sets to go. Jacob Galladay was in this spot last time with 150 points, and he ended up going win in second place and got in. So Riesback is not out at 150 points after 3 sets.
Kind of like that last one. His fifth ball at 395, 393.
4 out of 6 to play. Yep, Kyle Berkshire has settled into this tournament. We did not see his ball speed numbers in slot number 3. Once again, we are using FlightScope data to capture every single shot and making our lives very easy here in the booth. Bobby Bradley along with Alexis Belton, multiple-time World Long Drive Tour winner.
A little success there. It was a lot of fun being on that grid with the ladies. It's even more fun being out here talking about it with you.
Booth's fun. It's easy, especially I've really enjoyed having the hitters come in and hang out, talk about their experiences, like how they got in the long drive, their setups, what changes they're making throughout the tournament. And, Seb Twiddell was just here earlier today. Someone that's extremely talented in baseball terms, has a very, very high ceiling in this sport, a lot of room to grow. And the one thing you have to have is speed in this sport. And Seb Twiddell is very, very fast. And I know that he's going to make a lot of changes, and interested to see 6 months from now where he's going to be. And I got a feeling he is going to improve very, very quickly, especially with getting that much grid time traveling all over the world.
Without a doubt, as he said, he wants his superpower in long drive to be optimization, and I think he's on his way to doing that.
We got Cody Billinghurst, Jake Hignite, Josh Koch, Bobby Ray. This is a big set for Bobby Ray, sitting in at 100. Josh Koch is sitting at 200. A win for Koch would put him at 400. Cody Billinghurst not on the board as of yet, so I'm guessing he's in 16th currently, but he could rip off a couple wins and see himself in the final 16 as well.
One of the things I have to say it was a lot of fun having both Martin and Josh here in the booth yesterday, because they have 2 different approaches to the game, right?
Yeah.
Their game's a lot different, but the fundamentals are the same through and through. And so Josh here is just trying to figure out what that looks like to do what he always does, which is efficiency.
That's efficient flight right there for Josh Koch. 211.8, 2,300 spin, 188 feet in the air. Let's see where that one goes. Josh Koch
Might be the longest.
That was, he center punched that one, and based off his swing, it ended up improving by 13 yards at 386. We got Bobby Ray here in slot number 4. He likes it. He's at 2,300 spin, 213, 209. So he's about 2 mile per hour slower than Josh Koch's, more of a flat ball flight. I really like Koch's flight at about 180 feet in the air. Josh Koch stepping on the gas there at 215. We have the numbers back up in slot number 3.
Bobby Ray so close on that one.
Jake Hignite at 355. Right now, if Jake Hignite takes second place, he would have 250 points with 2 more sets to go. Cody Billinghurst still working on a number. Bobby Ray, 375. So, a little bit lower of a ball flight for Josh Koch at 188 feet, I believe, in the air. And ended up going 386. And he was a couple miles per hour faster than Bobby Ray. Bobby Ray at 375.
Bobby Ray hitting this one at 212.
There we go.
A little bit higher than normal here. Spin is a little low. We'll see where that one finishes at 375. Is this furthest so far?
I would say if it was about 15, 20 minutes ago, Bobby Ray's ball would have gone 15 yards farther. Just based off of those numbers alone, but like that was a little bit lower than I like. But we'll see if he was able to carry it far enough to get some rollout. And we can't tell from here how much rollout we're getting. But Bobby Ray with his fastest ball of the set. It really just comes down to launch and spin there. Low launch, low spin, good ball speed number in play. Where is that one going to end up?
Hopefully it's
We're
not
in
plugged somewhere.
363.5. Take the over-under. 360,
Oh.
374.
It's close.
Close. So
He's
you
gonna
hit
take the
two
second.
separate profile golf balls within 1 yard of each other. So that was a low launch, low spin. The other one was high launch, higher spin within 1 yard.
And we are about to get into this next grouping. This is going to be fun. We've got Ryan, Scotty, Bryce, and Jacob to set this fourth round up.
Kyle Berkshire's in, Bryce Verplank's in, Scotty Pearman's in. You'll see them in the final 16. Colton Casto needs to hit a couple balls and play. Josh Koch needs to do the same. I feel the same with Greg Nall. And then you have Kyle Gabbard, Will Hogue, Scott Littlefield, Bobby Ray, and Jake Hignite at 200 points.
And Will's had a couple of sets that are really strong and one that was he was kind of trying to figure things out. So I'm going to be interested to see what he does on these final 2 rounds.
Ryan Riesback coming off an OB set. Putting balls in play is important here for Mr. Riesback. He is at 150 points, but yesterday Jacob Galladay was in the same exact position at 150 points after 3 sets and ended up going win and a second place, ended up with 450 points to advance to come into this tournament, into this second day of competition. So 64 players entered the tournament. They cut the field in half yesterday down to 32. 32 hitters are going down to 16 today, and the final 16 are going to be hitting tomorrow. Scotty Pearman off to a good start with 378 yards. Ryan Riesback with a number on the board at 352, and Jake Hignite at 339.
And make sure to tune in tomorrow. That is one of my favorite parts of the tournament, of going the head-to-heads. Everything comes down to one set.
Yep, final 8. Anybody can win. Bryce Verplank with a number on the board that secures him into the next round. I've never not seen 525 points not get in. So Bryce Verplank will be into the third day of competition. Kyle Berkshire is safely in. Scotty Pearman is going to be safely in. And more than likely Colton Casto. Colton Casto won 7 of the first 8
And Scotty's
sets.
Scotty's sets are so interesting because he had that one round where he went OB for 5 balls and then knocks that one, which winds up taking the whole entire set. And he's in the position that he is in now of guaranteeing his spot to tomorrow.
What I'm going to be looking for tomorrow, especially in the round of 16, FlightScope's giving these numbers here. If you're looking at FlightScope, and it's going to be like L or R at the bottom of them as far as distance left and right. So like when you're starting to see these, like 43, that's about 15 yards of movement right to left, or that actually be a cut. So that's a cut there for Scotty Pearman, but there's not too much movement in that golf ball, so that ball should be in play. That's what I'm going to be looking for. When you start seeing these like 90, 100, 200, they're not going to be in play. So that's what when you talk about dispersion, that's what we're going to be looking at, is how much movement is going to be right to left or left to right. So like this ball from Bryce Verplank here in slot number 2, let's look at that final number. He had almost 30 yards of movement, so he hit almost a 30-yard draw right to left. Let's see how that turns out on that ball. So Scotty Pearman on the ball that was a little bit of a cut, a 15-yard cut, went 381 yards. Bryce Verplank ended up going 370 on that last ball, where he might have fought the wind just a little bit and hit a draw. So he hit a 30-yard draw almost into a cut win.
Got a little switch up there.
So it knocked down that golf ball.
Yeah, and to keep in mind, the grid itself, the width is about 60 yards. So where you're starting out, especially like for him, knowing that he's going to hit a draw, sometimes you got to take that line OB in order to get that ball inbounds.
Yep. And we've seen kind of around 220 mile per hour ball speed, 200 feet in the air. That was kind of the optimal number for today, especially early this morning. And yeah, that's something that I'm going to be looking at later on down the road, is that most of these guys are going to be 215 up to 230 in the round of 16, and it's just a matter of their left to right movement or right to left movement. And Scotty Pearman with just a little left to right, which benefits this south wind, he ended up hitting it slightly farther than a ball that was faster from Bryce Verplank that only went 370 yards. So
Yeah. And this grid is here at the beautiful Hobe Sound Polo Club, where you have some of the finest horses able to show themselves off here. And so we're really grateful to be able to be hitting at this phenomenal grid.
Colton Casto, 210, 19-yard cut. That one should be in play.
I mean, Colton has been bringing it today.
Yep, just a nice smoothie. That one ended up going OB. Bobby Ray at 369. This is a big set for Bobby Ray here. He's at 200 points. A win would put him at 400, and he could take a second place. He would have 500 points. Let's see where Josh Jackson's at. He's at 100. Big set here for him and Wes Patterson, because Wes and Josh can go win-win, and they're at 500 points. So Wes and Josh have to get a win here more than likely. If not, they could take a win in a second place, and they would be at 400 points. Bobby Ray currently in the lead at 369. Colton Casto at 354. Colton almost at 220-mile-per-hour ball speed. If that one stayed in play, his third ball was a bomb. Colton Casto.
Yeah, he definitely has the highest swing speed here in this group.
361. Must have hit it up.
Wow.
Must have taken up too much movement. Wasn't able to see the entire profile. So what I'm seeing right now from these tracers is Colton Casto's normal ball flight, 128 feet left. That's almost 43 yards of
I mean,
curve.
he's aiming at OB right.
That's what that was like the prototypical. You're welcome, Wes Campo. Prototypical ball flight from Colton was those big, high sweeping draws. And right now, like even though there's not much wind, he's fighting that crosswind. Colton Casto improves at 368, but Bobby Ray improves at 371. So big set here for Bobby Ray.
They're going back and forth. And Josh Jackson just needs to get something on the board.
Yeah, if Colton straightens this thing out, I mean, he's putting up big ball speed numbers right around 220.
And Wes Patterson, the consistency.
Boom.
He's hit 4 balls in, 5 balls out of 6.
Yep.
And we'll see what these final balls yardages come out to be.
This one's flirting down the left side, far left side with Colton Casto. Bobby Ray is at 371 underline. The wind has shifted again. This one it's a little bit more downwind now, and Colton's ball ended up drifting OB.
Best long hitters in the world have come for a chance to call themselves a world champion. It's all about power. It's all about accuracy. It's all about guts. Everyone takes the championship belt. World championship.
Wes Patterson on the last ball ends up going 380 yards to take down the set. Big win for Wes. That'll put him at 300. Bobby Ray will be at 300. We still have a few more guys hitting here in the fourth set. Kyle Berkshire headlining this group of 16 hitters has won all 3 sets and has the longest drive today at 400 yards. Andrew Carver, Scott Littlefield, Will Hogan, Josh Koch. Currently, we have Scotty Pearman, who's safely in at 700 points. Kyle Berkshire will be in the final 16 as well. Bryce Verplank at 600. Colton Casto, I would say at 475 is more than likely safely in, but just needs to keep hitting balls in play. Colton, a little bit too much movement right to left on his last couple sets.
Who are you excited to see in the final 16 that you didn't think that you would see? Or, I mean, we still have some surprises that can happen.
The guys that you expect to be in the final 16 are going to be there. So there really is not a surprise as of yet. Will Hogue here. A little bit lower of a launch on that last ball at 203, so it was a slight miss hit from Will. Will at 225 points, a win would put him in at 425 with one more set to go. Josh Koch is at 400 with a ball in play. A win for Josh Koch would put him at 600 points, so he would be safely in. He is currently in the lead at 365. Will Hogue just needs to hit one just a smidge higher. Josh Koch, slot number 4, in the lead at 365 yards, now advancing up to 370.
Wow.
Let's look at this ball speed numbers from him. He's been pretty consistent today, right around 210, 211, 212. That was a center strike there, but it just looks like a little bit of a pull from Koch. Will Hogue on his last ball was at 210, 160 feet in the air. I like these numbers from Will. It's just, did he launch it
just a little
high
bit
enough?
More. Yeah.
If this is a roll grid, that's a big number from Will. He
he
improves the 365, just needed to hit it just a tad higher.
And if he hit it in that slot, he might have an opportunity to get a little bit of rollout, but he hit that final ball at 365. Josh Koch is taking it at 370, even though he still has one out there. Scott Littlefield at 361. Andrew Carver at 337.
Josh Koch is going to be in
and
the
look
final.
who this is.
And my favorite to win the tournament, Martin Borgmeier, has made it back. Marty Borgie 240.
I have a question for you. How many phenomenals are we at?
Now 7.
7 phenomenals? Okay, that's not too bad.
It's a light day for us.
It
but
is.
I completely jinxed you, which is my fault.
Did you? What'd you say?
Yeah, I said that you were throwing a perfect game. You were 9 for 9 and ended up
we created good content though. I was mic'd up, and I think it was fun.
You were giving all the energy. You were giving all the.
I was trying. I was trying to catch JJ there, but you got to give it to him. He's an amazing hitter, and he's a world champion for a reason.
Yeah, he was definitely figuring it out there. Started to hit it higher and higher, and that was a really entertaining last set to watch.
Yeah, but we're seeing a lot of big numbers here in these sets. It's amazing to see how much the conditions changed, how much more. I don't think the grid is rolling more, but it's just a little warmer. It's a little more wind right now. It's kind of calm, a little down though. But what we really see is the high balls do very well.
Yeah. And we're starting to see, like for me, looking at the numbers, what I'm looking more at now is because all these guys are in and around the same type of speeds. Granted, there's a couple guys plus or minus, 3, 4, 5 mile per hour, but it's more of the movement left to right and right to left. It's just tightening up. And the last 2 sets with Colton Casto, he's a lot of movement, like his old ball flight of 120 feet of movement left. So that's something.
But he played it, which was.
He's going to have to make an adjustment, though, because when he's going up against these guys that are hitting it laser straight, 10 yards, 12 yards of movement left or right, he's going to have his hands full. But Greg Null starting off the set at 369 yards. Kyle Berkshire with a 222 ball right down meridian, 191 feet in the air, 2,000 spin. We were able to see some different spin rates too. Like we saw Scotty Pearman with I wrote it down here. Like it was 1488 spin, hit it 220 feet in the air at 216, and he ended up having the longest drive of the day at that time. And we were kind of thinking like, oh, maybe that might not be enough spin. But sure enough, like on that particular set, the lower spin ended up winning. So
it's interesting. I mean, we're still learning, right? Like all the time based on those speeds, spin rates, launches. The area of the grid as well, we don't really know what's happening down there, but I believe this set is really, really important for Ryan Gregnall because he's sitting at 350 points, if I see that correctly, and if he would take home 100 at least here, and he just snapped his second
Kyle
shot.
just hammered his third ball. He ended up going 2-26 with optimized, 395 from Kyle Berkshire. Big ball, not much movement at all, and he's actually riding out the wind, so look at the flags now. It's right to left. 7, 8 minutes ago, it was left to right. So the wind has shifted slightly. This is more of an east-northeast wind now.
It is definitely swirling. And we just saw Ryan break a shaft, he had to go back and get another club right there, which is
I think
not.
he's down to one.
Yeah, he's down to one club. That's not great timing, but he's making the most of it.
But like, I'm trying to think of the set where someone hit a draw. It might have been Bryce for Plank. I think Bryce hit a nice tight draw, a little bit of draw into a cut wind, and then you had Scotty Pearman that hit a 15-yard cut and ended up winning the set. So they, like these conditions change, and right now Kyle's hitting a nice high draw into more of a draw win. So that's why you're seeing these massive numbers. And granted, he went 226 mile per hour as well on that ball, but what I'm seeing now is that you guys have made the adjustment to the golf ball, and this golf ball is a really good ball. It flies very well.
It's interesting to see. I mean, I said it yesterday on the stream. The most important bit for me is actually that you get what you do. I mean, dispersion-wise, right to left, it's a very stable ball flight. And I mean, the only place so far we hit this golf ball was Mesquite. And Mesquite is a special place, so now it's just the second venue for this golf ball, and we learn as we go. So out here it might be a little different based on the humidity, based on how the grit rolls. And, I mean, this is big numbers. I mean, 395, but Kyle also put up a 400, right, earlier. Yeah. Bryce for Plank at 395 as well. So we're really learning how to flight that golf ball.
Bryce looks good too. He was in and around 220 and a little bit above that as well, and he was hitting a little bit of a high draw. So I think once he gets up and hits, like this win is going to benefit him as well. But he's safely in. Kyle Berkshire currently with 4 wins across the board. Scotty Pearman, Bryce Verplank, Josh Koch.
These boys
safely
look good,
in, safely in, and Colton Casto and Gregnall just need to hit a ball or two in play, and they should be safe. Will Hoge is at 325, and Wes Patterson, Bobby Ray, and Kyle Gabbard are tied at 300 points. So those guys are on the bubble right now. We haven't seen a playoff yet this week.
Yeah, and if Kyle wins this set, he'll have a great opportunity because he's not in the same bracket as the other guys.
Yep.
Right, that's true.
Kyle Gabbard is going up against. Where is he at here?
He's right here.
Gabbard, Hignite, Josh Jackson, and Andrew Carver.
So he has a great opportunity.
So this is the last set, right?
Yep.
It's set 5. It's really coming down to this. Where was the bubble in the first round?
Well, I know that it was 450, but Isaiah Joyner was safely in at 475, so he hadn't even hit in his 5th set, and he was automatically in. So 450 was the number. Sam Judah ended up getting the win that put him up at 450 that got him in right now. So currently, if Jacob Hignite wins this set, he would be at
And by the way,
Kyle just hit a good one, yeah.
An absolute nugget down the middle at 209 ball speed, 2800 spin.
216
So
height.
I expect that to be a bigger number than the one before.
Yep. Kyle Gabbard is very, very tall, too. He might be as tall. I'm trying to think.
Like James Hart on tour?
Yeah.
South
He's
Africa.
pretty tall.
Yeah, and his club pretty much looks like a kid's club. That's very true.
U.S. kids.
Yeah. Josh Jackson looked good today, too. I saw a couple balls. He's riding that kind of cut wind, that cut shot based on the wind. It's interesting. It looks like he's got full control over his ball flight. I don't know what his speeds were at because I wasn't watching, but right now it looks like he's in the mid 200s.
Yeah.
He's a high club speed kind of guy. It just looks like he's just missing the center of the club face, club face just a little bit. But, Kyle Gabbard, I mean, I was looking at the board here. Sean Johnson, I mean, him and Sean Johnson are very, very tall, very similar profiles as far as, like, build. And Sean Johnson made the final 16 as well.
You see him use the ground as he's squatting down, kind of getting adjusted there, and then really launching up in order to get that ball up high.
That went well. That was 213. Let's round up here, right?
Yeah.
Right down the middle, 1600 spin.
About
That's probably even longer.
80 apex.
And then it was like a 9-yard draw. Or no, it went right. It actually said it went right, so that was a little cut, so a little pull cut, right? I mean, FlightScope, so it was a little bit of a pull cut, which isn't that bad right now because there's really no wind. Now the flags are laying right, but there's
the wind's just tickling the flags.
Yeah, it's so interesting what you said. He's using the ground. Like as he's setting up, he has this little squat motion, right? That's priming him to really push off the ground.
That might
and
be
he's really trying to get his hands high, right? He's got these couple primers in there in the swing, which is interesting. It's just a glimpse of what he's probably doing in practice.
For sure. That might be the next TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Little squat hand high.
Let's get a trend going there.
All right, so Scott Littlefield and Wes Patterson, Cody Billinghurst, Bryce Verplank. Let's take a peek. Bryce Verplank is safely in. Cody Billinghurst is mathematically eliminated from this event. I would like to see him just make a couple changes and try to get some balls in play. Just struggled a little bit. I know that he was focused on keeping his feet aimed out right, Cody Billinghurst, but struggled a little bit putting balls in play, but a really good hitter. And like I said, these guys make adjustments, and he'll be back at the next event here in Mesquite. But yeah, Wes Patterson had to go win-win in order to give himself a fighting chance to get in. If he does win this set, he would be at 500 points. Wes Patterson on his last ball ended up going 380 yards in set number 4. Scott Littlefield is at 275 points, so he could finish at 475. Billinghurst is out. Bryce Verplank is in.
What I noticed in the last couple of rounds that I was watching, right now with the lighting and the clouds, it's so much harder for the players to spot the ball up in the air. Like this morning, it was way easier because the sun was right behind us, so we could see every ball perfectly. But now it was really tough to see the pink ball that Bryce Verplank is hitting right now.
Mm-hmm.
The white ball was fine, and on the very left, the orange ball was tough too. So depending on the lighting conditions, it's always different.
I feel you struggled one of the sets yesterday with the yellow ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't. You kept going like this. So
Yeah.
and talk about that. Like, I mean, that's pretty frustrating. You can feel it, but you're like, where did that go?
I mean, it's tough because you get an indication from the guys in the stands or your ball caller, but all you get is really left or right. But what was it? Was it like a straight right? Was it a push? Was it a slice? Like, I mean, was it a face issue, a path issue? You're like trying to figure out how to fix it, and a only right or only left is only half information. But it's, I mean, better than nothing.
Yeah.
And especially when you get that was straight down the middle, then usually you're good. Yeah. But it's a big one. Seeing what you're doing and adapting as a part of the sport.
And you adapt really quickly. You guys, if you're just tuning in, we've got Martin Borgmeier, our 2022 World Long Drive Champion. Make sure while he's in here you leave some comments, ask some questions. One question that we have for you right now is, if you were stuck on an island with 2 World Long Drive pros, who would it be? And you can say Bobby too.
No, I wouldn't take Bobby because he's chilling on an island with Kyle. So I'd be.
You're jealous. You and Josh. Who else?
I would chill with
Sam Judah and Josh Koch.
No, Sam. When you listen to this later, I would not take you with me, my friend. I would probably take Ryan Gregnall, and then we would bust golf balls all day. That's a cool question, though. I love it. Bryce Verplank right now at 384. Looks like he's winning this. 88 now. And 72, Scott Littlefield and Cody. Look, Scott Littlefield is sitting at 275 right now, so potentially, if they would tie this, would that mean anything for him?
No, I mean Scott Littlefield would have 75 points. So currently, Wes Patterson would have
knock him out.
325. Scott Littlefield would have 375, and we've seen 375s get in to these events. So, like, it really looks like Gregnall's in at 450 without even hitting in 475. This kind of plays out. Right now where Gregnall is in. Bryce Verplank, ruins it all by winning. These guys, Gregnall's in.
Wow.
Colton Casto's in. Will Hogue, it's really truly up to him. If he wins, he's in. Bobby Ray has to win the set, and let's see if Bobby Ray is going up against Will Hogue. So he's got his hands full. Bobby Ray's going up against Will Hogue, Gregnall, and Ryan Riesback.
This is going to be a fun set. We were talking a little bit earlier with Seb about workout, and the question came up of how much does he squat, and he said, I don't squat. And he was kind of talking about how he uses he really works on the little things. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people think that you guys just go out there and pump a lot of iron. Tell me a little bit about your workout regimen.
Well, I do every now and then, actually. I mean, the compound exercises are still a big part of my routine, but it's pretty much more about the volume and the intensity of it.
Yeah.
Like the exercises themselves didn't really change much. I do a lot more explosive work recently, like jumps and sprints and all of that, and based on how much I do of it, it could be just a regular workout or a priming workout.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting because the stuff that I do before I hit, that I do like a couple hours before I hit, is not satisfying at all. It almost feels like half a workout.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like trying to activate the body and get everything ready, the CNS firing to hit later. But there's nothing crazy. There's no secret stuff. It's really about dialing in how much you do of it, how intense you do it, and when you do it.
Yeah.
But the exercise, there's no long drive exercise
Yeah.
or anything. It's pretty much the basic stuff.
Yeah, I think something that's really interesting is I remember when I was training, one thing that allowed me to be really good at long drive is because I trained so much for basketball.
Yeah.
And that you were talking about explosiveness. It's all about fast twitch muscles, but it's also being able to actually utilize the ground and understand where your body is at certain times.
It's interesting you say that because, I mean, I used to play basketball too, and 90% of the workouts are still exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just that the time is different.
Yes.
And the amount.
And you're
Because I
by
hit
yourself.
more. Yeah, exactly. So who we got here?
Big set for Bobby Ray or Will Hogue. If they win, they're in. So Ryan Gregnall is already in. He can't. Yeah, he can't be beat. I guess if Will Hogue and Bobby Ray tie, they would have 150 points apiece. So I guess and Gregnall took fourth, or something. Like, I'm trying to think. Or he went OB. Yeah.
So if let's say Riesbeck wins this and he's taking home 400, so 200
He's
to
out.
be at 400, is
Well,
there any chance?
Well, if Will Hogue, that means Will Hogue would have to take third place and Bobby Ray would have to take fourth. So yeah,
So mathematically,
Ryan Riesbeck's got a chance. If he wins this set, he's in.
Because he was yelling at that golf ball.
Yeah.
I'm nervous now.
Yeah. So Gregnall would have to take Riesbeck would have to win, and Gregnall would have to take second in order for Riesbeck to get in. So he has a chance.
I mean, he's a veteran in the sport.
Yes, he
Anything
is.
is possible, and he's also helping to set up these events.
Yeah.
So he's definitely a big name in the sport right now. But that was a nugget from Ryan Gregnall, right down the middle, 224, a little low.
182 is pretty good. Like that might be the longest drive of the day.
Really?
Wow.
I don't know. That one's
would've-
close.
It's close.
I would have gone for a higher number in Apex, but based on what I've seen, but you
But
never
you
know.
never
It might
know.
trick-
That
It might
go
was-
trick
back
you.
to Scotty.
Oof.
It might trick you.
That
Go
one
back
was
to
a
Scotty.
bullet.
So
397 plus or minus. You taking over under
Oh, I
397?
taken over for sure.
If it's going to be close here, Gregnall with an absolute rocket right down the middle.
in fact, they can't even find it. That's how far it is.
Yeah,
Maybe.
it might be in the porter potty at the end of their grid.
Exactly.
Yeah, they
where
didn't
you
find a few of my balls because they plucked. So back
Yes.
here, 88.
388.
They went 88. But it's really wet back
It
there.
is very.
Yeah.
So we know that you are all things long drive, but I think one thing that some people don't know is that you're a little bit of an artist as well. You design some head covers.
Oh, yeah.
And the fans want to know, are you still selling the head covers?
Yeah, I did that with a company called Club Hats back in Austria, and they have all the long drive stuff on there, all the nerdy stuff. I mean, you can look it up. It looks kind of fancy. I love that design. And I mean, would I call myself an artist? I don't think so.
Hey, you create art with these clubs and these
Yeah, that's
balls and
true.
these shot
That's
shapes,
true.
so I would definitely
I
say
have
you
a
are that.
bachelor of arts too.
Oh, okay.
In
Will
business
Hogue,
He's degreed in it.
administration, yeah.
Will Hogue takes second place. So if Will takes second place, he's going to get in as well. So if Bobby Ray takes second or first, or Will Hogue takes second, they are going to. Will Hogue's going to advance with 425 points if he does not improve.
And we're
Bobby
getting
Ray
down
down
to
to
the
his
final
last
ball.
ball. Big ball here from Bobby Ray, too. Did he hit it high enough? That is the question.
And is it
164 feet
staying
in the
in?
air. This one's right down the left side of the grid. Not much movement on his golf ball. About 14 yards of movement. A little draw. Did Bobby
Oh.
Ray get the rollout that he needed? Will Hogue at 387.
71.
371. So
71.
Will Hogue is going to advance to the round of 16. Bobby Ray will be
Wow.
bubbled.
That
Kyle-
was a big set for Will.
Yep.
Big set.
Kyle Berkshire, Bryce for playing Scotty Pearman, Josh Koch, Kyle Gabbard, Colton Casto, Ryan Gregnall, and Will Hogue are going to advance to the round of 16. Some good names on that board right there.
Some great names. What are you looking forward to for tomorrow?
I mean, I'm always looking forward to hitting. I just love the thrill of competing. And the cool part is with all this, when you step up that tee box, that's a feeling you can't buy. I mean, there's absolutely no way to buy this but
Yes.
to come out and compete. And it's so interesting because I say it all the time. It's just like in golf, when you're hitting your best or your worst at the driving range, sometimes you make it to the golf course and everything is different.
Yes.
And it's exactly the same over here. But you're practically doing exactly the same thing, right? You just hit the same ball off the same tee, just like, let's say, 50 yards further right.
Yeah.
That's all you do. But everything is different, or it can be different. And that's the thrill of it, and I love it. And figuring out, like, all the nerdy stuff as well. Like, every day is different in terms of launch data and in terms of spin rates and what the grid gives. And like figuring that out and talking to your buddies and trying to find the right shot, that's like the process of that is very cool. I love that.
How you feeling?
Right now I feel great. I mean,
How was that sushi?
The sushi was great. I had scallops last night, and then I was like, oh,
that was risky.
Oh, it was a risky one.
If
Yeah,
you
but
guys
everything's good. Yeah, I feel a lot better compared to the day before yesterday. So everything's cool. I'm trying to make sure I get a lot of electrolytes during the day, because I mean, out here it's humid. We're sweating like crazy, and it's not really the best conditions to recover.
Yeah. If you guys are just tuning in, yesterday we found out that Martin had food poisoning the day before, but upon arrival lost about, what was that, 50 pounds?
Well, 10, 15 pounds, yeah, a minimum of 10.
10.
And I mean, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, wow.
Who is this?
Oh, that was a long
but
time ago.
you did a phenomenal job performing yesterday.
Yeah, it was great yesterday. I felt even better today. And I mean,
look at Josh Koch here.
He's
Oh, what a dancer.
You guys
didn't know that he had twerk movement like that.
His hips don't lie.
That they don't. Oh, he's back at it again.
Oh, look at this. Josh Koch is bringing it for the fans.
Hey.
I think he's just trying to get his hips loose, right? He's just I don't know if he's playing with a camera or with a crowd, but he's definitely nice and loose and relaxed because he knows he's on it tomorrow.
That is his if he needs another career, a dancer is his next one. I think he can be a backup dancer for Drake or something.
Well, these four gentlemen that are hitting are established, really, really, really good hitters.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the end, like the last set is always the highest ranked players. So when you didn't get it done till then, right, you have the hardest time to make it through. Because you're definitely facing the biggest distances.
Yeah.
Or most of the time you're facing the biggest distances. And well, these guys are all through, so they probably it's more like an ego thing from here, I guess, for them.
Well, you and Kyle had the same brackets per se as far as like slots you're hitting in.
Yeah.
Did you change anything from hitting first out of the gates today and then waiting, because you have the longest wait out of anybody to hit in your second set? Did you make some changes, or what'd you do in that 25-minute period?
It's so interesting you asked that, because I have that break all the time, and I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
I still try to figure it out. Today I just went by 1 or 2 swings every 5 minutes just to stay loose, talk a little bit here and there, and socialize. But and see, also I went down here and watched the guys hit a little bit as well, because you can always learn from ball flights and launch angles. So I don't really know. It's a good question. I don't know how other people are handling it, but today went really well, so I might stick to it.
I got a question for you. If you were to have to name, if your career as of now was a book, and you have to make a title for it, what would that title be?
The German making it out to
the
States.
I was going to say the Germinator.
The German on a long drive to the United States. That's pretty much what it is, because my career transitioned over from Europe to the U.S. in 2019, then got a big hit from COVID, and now we're back. So
I like Germinator too. That was that was solid, Bobby.
I have a bunch of nicknames.
That?
The Germinator, the Germinator, and my son gave him a nickname that, unless they were paying us,
You can't say it.
You can't
say it now.
But what you can say is how thankful we are for all these stats by FlightScope.
Absolutely.
As well as Bridgestone.
Phenomenal.
Producing some of the best balls out here for our players to be able to optimize.
And Josh Koch is hitting one of them right now.
Boom.
And that one was definitely not in the grid. There was a little left. He's struggling right now a little bit, just like Colton Casto. Both no marks. Kyle Berkshire at 385. Launching that up in the air. That's look at these numbers, for example, from Kyle.
Yeah.
That 17 launch, 1600 spin, a little bit right to left,
yep.
227
feet. Oof, that's
so
like
I would
30.
expect a bigger number there, because that would be my numbers that I would be going for. Like launch it over 200 and just try to get it up in the air as high as possible. Look, 89.
89.
Yep.
And Scotty Pearman usually has a prototypical ball flight like that as well.
Yep.
So and he's doing
Josh.
pretty well too.
Holding that finish there for us.
Oh yeah, and he probably hit it on the grid.
There he goes.
Yep.
It's a nice ball for Josh.
Little foot kick there action. What a great round for the second group. Martin, thank you so much for being back in the booth with us. It's
Thank you.
always
Can't
a
wait
joy.
till tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. You're doing a great job. And Josh Koch just went 381, took second place.
Took second
Absolutely.
place.
Kyle Berkshire sweeps this bracket of 16 hitters with 5 straight wins. Martin Borgmeier, thank you for your time. But the usual suspects are there.
They're
Kyle
there.
Berkshire, Scott Verplank, Scotty Pearman, Ryan Gregnall, Josh Koch, Colton Casto, Kyle Gabbard, and Will Hobe will round out the bottom half
We had
of 16 hitters.
We had an exciting morning this morning, seeing how the grid changed, it evolved. Excited to see these 16 players off for tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, but we've still got more long drives starting at 2:30 with our amateurs. Make sure you come back, and they will be followed by the senior division. So go grab some lunch and tune in at 2:30.
We'll see you soon.
Catch every single World Long Drive Tour competition right here on the World Long Drive YouTube channel. The amateur, senior, women's, and open division championship will be available on the Golf Channel. To stay up to date on everything WLD, follow us on social at World Long Drive.